Welcome everyone to another episode of World Record Runs, How It's Done. This is a series where we take a look at Call of Duty zombie maps and see how some of the greatest zombie players in the world are achieving new records and new heights in the game. Today we're doing something just a little bit different. Rather than dedicate a single episode to an entire map like we've done previously, today what we're doing is looking at all of the survival maps in Black Ops 2 Zombies. We could, for example, dedicate an entire video to Bus Depot, but if you ask me, that'll just be a terrible video. I mean, you want to talk about YouTubers stretching out videos to be 10 minutes long, that'd be the kind of situation we're in, and honestly, that's something I've never really cared about doing, but it just doesn't make sense to dedicate an entire video to each survival map for 4 episodes in a row. It wouldn't make for a very good series. So today what we're doing is going through all of the survival maps solo records in BO2. We'll also be touching on Nuketown. And if I'm being honest, and the reason why, it's because Nuketown somehow has managed to dodge the criticism that it's basically just a glorified survival map. It plays like a survival map, especially when you're going for high round runs, so I figured I would lump it in with the rest of the survival maps. That, personally, is my Nuketown hot take. The plan, though, is we'll be hitting Bus Depot, Farm, Town, and then Nuketown in this survival map extravaganza episode of World Record Runs, How It's Done. Before we jump into that though, I want to mention that this episode has been brought to you by the Opera GX browser. The Opera GX browser is the world's first browser for gamers. What this means is that it's been tailored for the gaming community. It has the GX control panel, which allows you to limit your computer's CPU and RAM usage for the browser. So basically, goodbye the days of Chrome being a total RAM hog and eating up all your RAM like a kid in a candy store. There's also the GX Corner, where you can stay up to date with the latest deals, newest releases, and breaking gaming news. The browser also has direct integration with Twitch and Discord, as well as many other messaging apps. It's also fully customizable. You can change the colors, the wallpaper to fit your exact style. Now, I'll admit, I was skeptical of the Opera GX browser. I'm faithful to other browsers for the most part, but here's the reason I decided to make a switch and the selling feature. It's the video pop-out. What it allows you to do is take a video that you're watching and pop it out on top of your game. So imagine this. You're doing an Easter egg, and you want to have the guide right up there on screen as you're playing through it as a direct reference. It is perfect. The Opera GX browser and its video pop-out are perfect for any zombie player doing an Easter egg that wants to have a guide as a reference. And as zombies maps get ever more complex, this is the kind of thing I'd love to have when I'm like, forget the steps, but I don't feel like tabbing out of the browser. I wish I just had the video right there in the corner. The Opera GX browser is free to download. A link is in the description. There's also a link in the description for those on mobile where you can put your email and then have a download link emailed to you for a later time. I highly recommend you all give it a try. Zombie Easter eggs and the Opera GX browser are like a match made in heaven. It's free. A link is in the description. I recommend you check it out. Thank you to Opera GX for supporting my channel, and please show them my love by supporting me by downloading the Opera GX browser. Let's kick things off though with Bus Depot. So these are the top 5 highest rounds ever achieved on Bus Depot as of the recording of this video. Sitting at the top is Figsoo, who holds the world record of 82. An interesting note on Figsoo is that he also holds the co-op record on Bus Depot as well. He and Economics Yo were able to reach round 78 on co-op, which is wild to think that the co-op record is almost as high as the solo record. So this is a hell of a record, and it almost goes without saying, just by the sheer fact that you have to do this without Jug and Quick Revive. It makes getting to a high round so much more difficult, knowing that that game could end in an instant. Somehow though, over the course of 9 days and 46 hours of total in-game time, Figsoo made it to round 82, and his first and of course only down came at round 82. And thank goodness it didn't come any sooner, because the previous world record was 81, so he was just barely over the finish line. The trick to this map is, well, simply grinding it out with the ray gun and the ray gun Mark II. When you get into the late game, the 70s and 80s, it's going to take you multiple ray guns to kill an entire horde, but if you keep trading it out, eventually you'll get the job done and kill those zombies. If you watch though, you'll see what he does is he'll usually get all the zombies together, especially when he starts to create crawlers. And he'll bring them over by the fog, and then once they're starting to die by the ray gun, he's ready to make a break for the other end of the map because the horde is going to flood in. He'll either go into the spawn room where he'll round up the zombies there, or he'll go round up the zombies by the lava, but that's what he does. He tries to kill the horde consistently in one big group and then prepares for the onslaught of zombies. This is the general strategy for this map as well as most survival maps. You just grind it out, trade the ray gun multiple times and the ray gun Mark II, and just work your way through the map. That, though, is how Figsoo was able to set the world record on Bus Depot. Well done. If we move on to farm, these are the top 5 highest rounds ever achieved on farm. You'll see Figsoo makes an appearance on this list at number 2, but sitting at the top is Chris Voltage, who we'll be talking about a lot throughout the rest of this video. Chris holds the farm world record, which is around 96. So on farm, you'll find yourself mowing down zombies in the open area in between the barn and the house, which is pretty much how you would expect. The ray gun Mark II and the ray gun are your best friend as you slowly kill these hordes of zombies. One of the things I really enjoy about watching world record runs is that I still seem to find and learn new tips about the game that I didn't even know. I mean, Black Ops 2 is 8 or so years old now, and by watching this game, I learned that you can actually hit the mystery box without running up. If you jump onto this little ledge right here on the railing, you can actually hit the box there. So when Chris is trading out the ray gun, what he does is actually just jump onto the railing, hit the box, and then jump on the railing again to grab his weapon, rinse and repeat. This is how he's able to do the trade strat, and I'm sure it's a lot faster than running up the stairs every time. It's definitely safer. And these are those little tips and tricks that, you know, I never thought about playing the game. I never thought about jumping on the railing, but when I watch the pro players do this, you learn these things. So this is one of my favorite parts of watching world record runs. So with that aside, obviously trading becomes a big part in these survival runs, and Chris, to get to round 96, used 1,118 ray guns. He also used 329 ray gun Mark IIs, which is goddamn incredible. The fact that you got to go through that many is wild. The game eventually ended at round 96 when he reset. A game on farm is estimated to reset at around 140 hours. He reset at 141, so it's about on pace. Now, at the time, it was believed that Chris had maxed out this map, and this would mean that it's really unlikely for somebody to play that much more efficient that he could beat his record. Now, this was before, though, the fast ray gun strategy became a thing. So I'm not sure, perhaps with the use of the fast ray gun strategy, you might be able to reach round 97, maybe even higher. We'd have to wait and see. Regardless, congrats Chris for setting the record on farm. Moving on to town, we're looking at another world record held by Chris, who sits atop the leaderboards and was able to make it to round 100. This is really unrelated to this gameplay, but I just want to give a shout out to the texture pack that Chris is using on town. I think it looks awesome, especially the green lava. While he was playing this game, he did it over the course of 131 hours and reached round 100 on town, where he eventually reset. This, of course, is another record that was done by grinding out with the ray gun and the ray gun Mark II, trading them. Trading is a little bit easier on town than it is farm. You don't have to worry about jumping onto a railing. You know, you just have the 2 locations, one at the bar, one at the back end of the map. And that's all you're really doing. You're just trading out the ray gun Mark II, killing the zombies. This record, though, is also another record done without the fast ray gun strategy, so it could also potentially be pushed higher. When this record was set, we believe that town was maxed out. It might be possible with the fast ray gun to set it even higher, which is an interesting thought, to go even higher. The last map we'll be looking at is Nuketown, everybody's favorite glorified survival map. Once again, Chris Voltage is sitting at the top of the leaderboards. My man also hit 100 on Nuketown. And at this point, it might just be fair to crown Chris the king of survival maps. Him and Figsoo as well, who is also a prominent name on these leaderboards. I've mentioned the fast ray gun strategy a couple times in this video, but I never explained it. And I wanted to save it for Nuketown because this is one of the survival records in which the fast ray gun strategy was successfully implemented. It's an exploit in the game that, while not recently discovered, has recently blown up in the world record community and has started to be used in a lot of runs thanks to the release of some macros and more research into it. It's started to become something that a lot of people can do. I've talked about it at length in a previous video, so I'll have that video linked in the description. But basically, you're using clever key bindings or macros to allow you to shoot incredibly quickly. Then, while you're shooting the ray gun, you are now shooting incredibly faster, which is then allowing you to cycle through more ray guns and ray gun marks 2 faster, essentially allowing you to play faster. If you'd like a full explanation of it, as well as whether or not it should or shouldn't be allowed in world record runs, I'd recommend you check out my video that I already made on it. It's a controversial topic in the world of world records. Some people argue it should be allowed, other people will argue that it should not be allowed, and I'm not really going to go into that, but to give you a sense of how much faster you can play with the fast ray gun, it took Figsoo 108 hours to reach 96 on Nuketown. Chris, during his game, reached 96 in 76 hours. So by using the fast ray gun exploit, he played 32 hours faster. And when you're going for world records, you're essentially racing against the reset timer. It's almost in a way like a speed run. So a 32-hour speed boost over the course of a 100-hour plus game is absolutely massive. That cannot be understated. Now, Nuketown is supposed to reset somewhere around 185 to 190 hours into the game. I think theoretically you should be able to reach 100 without the fast ray gun, but with the fast ray gun exploit, it's definitely a lot more feasible, and I'd imagine 100 plus is also much more feasible. Regardless, the fast ray gun and trading out the ray gun and the ray gun Mark II is what Chris did to reach 100 on Nuketown in 117 hours. It's unfortunate the game ended when the zombies snuck up on him and while he was shooting the ray gun Mark II, and I think his reaction says it all.
Whoa! No! Damn! I didn't see him at all.
With that, we're going to wrap up this episode of World Record Runs, How It's Done. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, maybe subscribe for more. We're going to be continuing to cover world records. The next video, we'll be covering everybody's favorite map, Die Rise. So if you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll enjoy the next one. Also, I want to give a thank you to the Opera GX browser for sponsoring this video. I'd recommend you guys check it out. A link is in the description. It's free. It is perfect for doing zombie Easter eggs when you have a pop-up video on the side as a reference. With that, I'm going to go. Have a wonderful day.